Something happened in that workshop that's got the automotive world talking, and depending on who you ask, it's either the most expensive mistake in custom car history or the setup for one of the greatest comebacks anyone's ever filmed. Let's start with what we actually know. Alex commissioned a body kit for his Bugatti Chiron, reportedly costing somewhere in the neighborhood of $700,000. For context, that's enough to buy 2 Lamborghini Huracans or a 6-bedroom house in Miami with a pool. When the crate finally arrived at Matt Armstrong's workshop, cameras rolling, helicopter overhead, the reveal everyone had been waiting months for, Matt didn't look excited. He looked uneasy. "This could be terrible," he said, half laughing. "This could be a disaster and we could have got scammed." At the time, most people brushed it off as a joke, the kind of thing you say to break tension before a big reveal. But then the fitment problems started. Side panels reportedly needed to be cut down. Parts didn't line up the way you'd expect from a kit custom built for one specific car. And the rear wing, allegedly engineered specifically for a Chiron, apparently wouldn't bolt into the factory mounting points. Naturally, the internet did what it always does. It went after the kit, and by extension, the company behind it, with thousands of comments questioning the quality, the price, and whether this was ever going to work. And that offhand joke Matt made before he'd even opened the box? A lot of viewers went back and rewatched it, and it started to look less like a joke and more like he already had a feeling something was off. That's the part that's fueling most of the speculation now. Why would someone who built his entire reputation on precision work sound that hesitant before he'd even seen the product? Some think it's nothing, just a guy being cautious on camera. But others think Matt already suspected the kit wouldn't hold up and that everything that happened afterward was less about reacting to a disaster and more about a plan that was already quietly in motion. Here's the theory, and to be clear, this is where we're firmly in fan detective territory, not confirmed reporting. After the fitment issues went public, Matt didn't do what a lot of creators would do. He didn't put out a rebuttal video. He didn't call out the kit maker. He didn't throw Alex under the bus for the decision, either. He just went quiet and kept working. Head down, cutting, fitting, adjusting, filming the process without much commentary on how it was going. For a channel with millions of subscribers, that silence stood out. And when a creator with that kind of platform goes quiet after a public mess, people fill in the blanks. Some viewers speculated he was embarrassed. Others guessed he simply didn't have a good answer. A few even floated that he might walk away from the build entirely. But a growing number of fans think it's something else, that the silence wasn't him being stuck, it was him being strategic. Think about the position he'd have been in if he'd said anything critical in public. Alex had already paid for the kit before Matt ever touched it. The deal was done. If Matt had trashed it publicly on day one, he's not just criticizing a product, he's humiliating his own client, on camera, over a decision that wasn't his to make. He risks scaring off future clients who don't want their build aired out that way. And if there's any truth to the idea that Bugatti isn't thrilled about independent shops doing this kind of work, a very public flop would have been exactly the story the factory side wanted told, that this stuff can't be done right outside their own service network. So the theory goes that instead of saying anything, Matt just kept working in public while allegedly doing something else out of frame. This is the part of the story that's mostly circumstantial, built on a handful of clips some fans have picked apart frame by frame. In one video, time-stamped around the 12-minute mark, there's a large panel leaning against the workshop wall, partly covered by a cloth. A few viewers zoomed in on the exposed corner and pointed to what looks like a genuine carbon fiber weave, distinct from the composite material people associate with the original kit. Some think the shape matches a PUR sport-style rear quarter panel, factory proportions, not the wide-body look of the kit that was delivered. From there, the speculation builds that Matt may have quietly brought in a UK-based composite shop to reverse-engineer the original Bugatti panels from scratch. Not a reinterpretation, but something close to factory spec, same materials, same tolerances, without ever routing through Bugatti's official parts channel. If true, that would be a pretty remarkable detail because it pokes at something people have pointed out about Bugatti's approach to independent builds, that they've been fairly protective of who gets access to factory panels and documentation, on the theory that without their cooperation, nobody could replicate that level of precision. A small shop pulling it off independently, if that's really what happened, would undercut that assumption entirely. And the detail people keep coming back to, again purely speculative, is that if Matt really did commission a backup set of panels, nobody's found any evidence he billed Alex for it or asked to be reimbursed. If it's true, that would mean he funded a several $100,000 contingency plan out of his own pocket on the chance the original kit didn't work out and never said a word about it publicly. That's the kind of thing that, if confirmed, would say a lot about how he operates. If it's not true, it's still a pretty compelling piece of internet myth-making about a creator people clearly trust. So where does that leave things? Nobody outside Matt's own team actually knows how this ends yet. But here's roughly how a lot of viewers expect it to play out, based on nothing more than pattern recognition and how he's handled things in the past. The original kit quietly gets set aside. Matt sits down for a video, same low-key delivery he's known for, no dramatic reveal, no victory lap. He frames the whole experience as a lesson in fitment and materials rather than a scandal, and he doesn't publicly go after the kit's manufacturer, because by most accounts that's just not his style. Then, if the more elaborate version of this theory holds up, boxes from that UK composite shop get opened on camera, and the panels inside fit the way people expected the original kit to. If that happens, you can already guess how the narrative flips. The same comment sections that spent weeks calling this a scam and a disaster start calling it a masterstroke. Same channel, same audience, completely different headline, because in this version of the story, nothing that happened was actually a surprise to the one person who mattered. But it's worth saying plainly, none of the secret backup plan material has been confirmed by Matt, by Alex, or by the kit manufacturer. It's built almost entirely on a blurry clip, a lot of pattern matching, and the natural human instinct to look for a hidden narrative when a public figure goes quiet at an inconvenient moment. It's a compelling theory. It's also, right now, just a theory. What is verifiable is this. A very expensive kit reportedly didn't fit the way it was supposed to, a well-known mechanic reacted with visible unease before he'd even opened the crate, and he said very little publicly since the fitment problems became apparent. Everything past that, the secret panels, the covert reverse engineering project, the idea that this was 3 moves ahead of everyone from the start, is internet detective work built on inference, not confirmation. Maybe that's exactly what's coming. Maybe it's just a story people want to be true because it's more satisfying than expensive custom parts sometimes don't fit, and creators sometimes stay quiet because there's nothing useful to say yet. Either way, the only people who actually know how this ends are the ones in that workshop. Everyone else, including everyone making these theories, is just watching the same footage the rest of us are and trying to read between the frames.